Good evening, everybody. I wanted to give you a brief update on where we are with the election and possible paths to victory for the president. I see 5 possible paths forward. Scenario 1. What's going to happen is on January 6th is all of the electoral votes that were cast will be pulled out of sealed envelopes and they will be given to Mike Pence. Mike Pence, the president of the U.S. Senate, will oversee a joint session of Congress, which will be the House of Representatives and the Senate. If someone from any of the states file an objection to a state's electors and is able to state grounds as to why that state's electoral should not be seated, then what happens is, both chambers are forced to go into a closed session where they try to come up with an agreement or arrangement for the electors in those disputed states. If, however, they don't come up with any type of a resolution at the end of the session, the Senate will vote. In the event of a tie, Vice President Mike Pence is the president of the Senate and would break that tie. Which means President Trump would win. I wouldn't worry too much about what Mitch McConnell said. I think if the Trump team is able to show the fraud in public, the GOP will have no choice but to back Donald Trump, or it will be a political suicide for their base. They will never be elected again. Second scenario. If the Trump's campaign has the opportunity to go before the U.S. Supreme Court and can give proof that the Biden campaign with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were complicit in cheating in the election, the Supreme Court has the ability to basically disqualify Biden from the race, and the president would be seated for a second term by the Electoral College. In Pennsylvania, if the Supreme Court hears that case about the article of the Constitution and how the governor of the state of Pennsylvania went around the state's constitution and changed the law, which was illegal, it will result that the mail-in vote was basically illegal. After the mail-in vote is removed, President Trump would win Pennsylvania, adding 20 electoral votes. In Wisconsin, their Supreme Court ruled that there were 200,000 ballots that were cast were illegally, and they need to be separated from that state's vote. If that's the case, Wisconsin will go for the president, and that's 10 more electoral votes. Then last is Nevada and New Mexico, Arizona, Georgia and Michigan, where there's litigation going on. If any one of those combinations were to change, for the president will have enough electoral votes to win the Electoral College. Mind you, Nevada is only 6 and New Mexico is only 5 electoral votes, so he would need both of these. Third scenario, there are independent lawsuits with Cindy Powell and Lynn Wood. From the reports we are seeing on those Dominion machines with 68% error rate, as well as the logs being deliberately deleted, as well as the Arizona Dominion machines audit, this scenario might work out very well. Fourth scenario. It's also important to point out that the Supreme Court didn't rule in Texas's favor based on merit, but rather standing. They said from a technical standpoint that one state has no standing in on how another state conducts an election, even if it's illegal. So really what they need to do is refile the suit with plaintiffs that has standing, which would be large groups of voters in those 4 states. Under the 14th Amendment, we are all entitled to equal protection under the law, and because these 4 states where the governors acted unilaterally creating election rules that were not legal, which changed the electoral vote totals, therefore disenfranchised all of the voters. Fifth and final scenario, as you are aware, the president signed an executive order in 2018 that basically said that if there was proof presented to him by Homeland Security and by the National Intelligence Service that foreign interference with our election had taken place, the president then uses executive order to invoke the Insurrection Act. He would then bring in the military and do a full forensic audit of the ballots that were cast in the states in question. So, there are many ways for the president can still get a victory. I can tell you that Donald Trump isn't a quitter, and he doesn't seem to be planning on leaving. Let's see how it plays out. It's best to not lose hope, there is still a little time left.